Welcome back to Midday News and thanks for staying with us. Labour Minister Carl Samuda is imploring members of Parliament to utilize initiatives that will identify constituents who want to be trained in the tourism industry. Speaking at a recent handing over ceremony in St. Mary, Mr. Samuda said tourism workers are being recruited by foreigners, which is crippling the sector. The COVID-19 pandemic also contributed to the shortage in the industry. Therefore, Mr. Samuda said more workers are needed.
As soon as we train them in the hotel and the tourists come and see them in the hotel, they go and tell them friend, and next thing you know, them friend send recruiters to recruit our workers. If we allow that to happen, then we'll eventually end up, the thing that makes us so wonderful in the world and leaders is the quality of workers that attend to tourists. And if therefore it behoves us to train more. So if Jamaica can be considered a destination for hotel workers, then so be it. But we must train enough.
Mr. Samuda also wants members of Parliament and councillors to recommend eligible persons for the Overseas Employment Program.
Don't bother send them because they're not going to go past the first base. They're not even going to be requested for a second interview. When somebody tell you, say, them not say nothing to me, that means them not ever going to say anything to you. Because you don't get through.
Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie has made good on a promise to assist home and business owners in Pagy, Port Maria following February's flood rains. Some 35 persons recently received between $30,000 to $100,000 in financial support. St. Mary's Chamber of Commerce President Frederick Young is encouraging beneficiaries to use the funds wisely.
To strengthen the business to get back to where they were somewhat. It's not the full amount that they probably expected, but it's a start to get them back on the track, to get them back into business. Some were actually almost wiped out, but today we are here to give them a start back, to really bring them back to a point, not full recover, but it's on the road to recovery. And so the Chamber endorses this initiative, and we encourage them to use the funds as it should be.
However, he says the issue of flooding still needs to be addressed.
I call upon the ministry down the road to get find funding where possible to start each year to fix some level of the Outram River. It can be done in one belt, but I think over time, probably a 3-year, 5-year plan to do each segment over each period of time based on funding availability.
There was jubilation at St. Jago High School on Monk Street, St. Catherine this morning following the school's victory in the recently concluded TVJ School Challenge Quiz competition. The St. Catherine-based school defeated Calabar High of St. Andrew 28-16 in the grand finale last night. Calabar trailed St. Jago throughout all 3 rounds, 7-5, 24-16, and 28-16 respectively.
By which former Jamaican cabinet minister and member of parliament? Calabar? That's correct.
Good.
Art. What is the title of the painting attributed to Leonardo da Vinci depicting Christ with his right? Calabar? Sorry? Incorrect. Salvator Mundi with his right hand raised in blessing. Bible knowledge, and that's the bell. That's the end of the final challenge. Please don't break the furniture, St. Jago. That's the end of the match. Scores are St. Jago High on 28 and Calabar High on 16.
Thursday's victory increases the number of times St. Jago has won the coveted title to 6, one more than Calabar's 5 victories.
Unstoppable, right through competition. Feel like me can't find words to explain. Yeah man, Jago all the way. Monk Street, Rivali. All the way. Jago. Unstoppable, Jago. Big up yourself, respect our manner.
And we go now to the Business Minute. Here's Cody and Barrett.
In the world of business, food distributor Rainforest Seafood has expanded its product portfolio,
creating a new revenue stream with the introduction of rainforest-branded canned products. The company is now tapping into the highly lucrative global canned food market that carried an estimated value of almost $103 billion. Rainforest spent the past 6 months testing the market for reactions to what are said to be its fast-moving canned mackerel, Vienna sausage, and corned beef products before it moves ahead with a full-scale rollout later this year that will determine whether other items are added to the canned line. And news overseas, Britons were hit Friday by a huge rise in energy bills, compounding the country's worst cost of living crisis in decades. About 22 million households will see their annual bills soar to about £2,000 after the UK's energy regulator lifted its price cap by 54%, the biggest jump since it began lifting price increases in 2017. And coming up in the Business Review this Sunday, how one man's passion for clay developed into a 30-year-old pottery studio in Good Hope, Trelawney. And that's it for the Business Minute this week. I'm Cody Ann Barrett.
Time now for the top regional and international stories. Here's Sandy Williams.
In regional news, the government of Guyana is considering the recommendation by the U.S.-based Center of Disease Control, CDC, and the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, to offer COVID-19 booster doses to persons 12 years and older. The CDC has said that adolescents who are aged 12 to 17 years should receive a booster shot 5 months after their initial Pfizer-BioNTech vaccination series. The FDA announced earlier this week that countries can now administer a fourth COVID-19 booster dose to their population. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony said it's something the government will be looking at because the population between 12 and 17 years have been receiving the primary dose, which is the first and second dose. Guyana has recorded 1,226 deaths and 63,246 infections linked to the virus since the first case was detected in March 2020. On the international scene, more than 250,000 Ukrainians have applied for special long-term visas in the Czech Republic since the start of the Russian invasion. According to the Czech Ministry of the Interior, the number of refugees in the country is likely to be higher, as Ukrainians do not require visas for entry to the country. On Thursday, more than 2,900 refugees registered with the Czech authorities. The number is below the 7-day average of 3,500 arrivals per day. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Sandy Williams.
Thank you, Sandy. We head now to a quick break. When we return, we'll have your Midday Sports Report. Simon Preston is standing by.
Welcome back. It's now time for Midday Sports. I'm Simon Preston. The 2022 FIFA World Cup draw is now underway in Doha, Qatar. So far, the host nation have been drawn to face the Netherlands and Senegal in Group A, while England will face the United States in Group B in a rematch of the group stages of the 2010 World Cup. Defending champions France are in Group D with Denmark, while 5-time winners Brazil are in Group G with Switzerland and Serbia. In Group H, Portugal will face Uruguay in a repeat of the round of 16 at the 2018 FIFA World Cup. The 2022 World Cup is set to run from November 21 to December 18. Reggae Boys midfielder Ravel Morrison was the only Jamaican named in the CONCACAF Team of the Window for the final 3 matches of the 2022 World Cup qualifiers. The 29-year-old was named in the 11 after scoring in their 2-1 win over Honduras and for completing 24 of his 28 passes in this fixture. The rest of the 11 comprises 6 Costa Ricans, 3 Mexicans and 1 Panamanian. Jamaica ended the final round of World Cup qualifying in 6th position on 11 points. The Reggae Boys will now turn their attention towards the CONCACAF Nations League in June. Manchester United midfielder Bruno Fernandes has signed a 1-year extension with the club. The 27-year-old who joined in January 2020 is now under contract until 2026, and this new deal includes an option for a further 1-year extension. Fernandes has scored 49 goals in 117 matches in all competitions for United. No player has created more goals for the club since he joined, and he was the club's top scorer last season with 28 goals. To athletics we go now, as General Manager of Independent Sparkle Limited, Major Desmond Brown is expressing confidence that the stadium facility will be ready to stage the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championships next week. Major Brown says IPL is in the process of handling one key area.
I think based on our experience in the past, and our preparations, we have some painting up to do, which we do normally just before champs. So we're actually doing that right now. So I think that we'll be ready. I don't see any major issues to come up, but there's always something that we have to be prepared for. So our team is standing by as usual.
Brown was speaking on Hits 92 FM's Sports Grill recently. The 2022 edition of Champs is slated to run from April 5 to 9. And that is where we leave the track for now. For your Midday Sports Report, I'm Simon Preston. Anthony, it's over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Simon. And that's the Midday News. I'm Anthony Lugg. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.